Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Yesterday was 1-7. So we're looking at what's going to happen on 1-8, 1-9, 1-10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so these are the big money patterns moving forward. Okay, yesterday, let's see here, I'll blow this up a little bit. 1351. This was dropped in Tennessee. As you can see, my number one big money pattern, I told my VIP, look, on 1-1, this is what I saw. To win, you need to focus on my top 4 digits, which I promise the first 2 big money patterns. They will manifest. Look at this. Between the dates 1-1 and 1-9, yesterday was 1-7. Number one big money pattern. That's it. Do you see that? Now watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, 544. As you can see, on 12:30, I told my VIP, look, between 12:30 and 1-7, yesterday was 1-7. I promised my only big money pattern on fire would manifest straight by the deadline date. I put it in writing. Ladies and gentlemen, 765. Ladies and gentlemen, I told my VIP, look, this is a prerequisite to join my group. To win, you need to focus on my top 5 3 digits. Let's stop right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that for yourself. And I tell you, look, which I promise, triple dollar signs. That's the first triple dollar sign. That is the first best alternate. And ladies and gentlemen, 765. Ladies and gentlemen, 765. There's a few people that get a little upset because I don't take credit where credit should be due. But I do this on a regular basis, and I don't even practice this. I just try to prove to you that what I can do is above and beyond a flip, a mirror, or a rundown. You see it for yourself. I told the VIP between the dates 1-5 and 1-13. This is for investment purposes only. And these investments will create a windfall of lucrative income that will be residual. This will happen every single day, as you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, 3940. Ladies and gentlemen, I told my VIP, hey, look, on 1-3, to win, you need to focus on my top 5 4 digits, which I promise the first 2 will manifest. From 1-3 to 1-11, you see it for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 is at 381. Ladies and gentlemen, only 22 hours. 381 straight. I told my VIP, look, on 1/6, between 1/6 and 1/14, you would see this happen. I said in most cases, I can make it happen in 24 to 48 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, 692, ladies and gentlemen, my number one big money pattern. I tell my VIP, look, if you want to win with me, you have to be able to follow my simple winning instructions, which I promise the first two big money patterns will manifest between the dates 1/1 and 1/9. I also guarantee you would see it go to Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, 1379, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I told my VIP on 12/31, I promise to manifest my triple dollar sign, my top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, one, two, three, 4, 5. You see it for yourself from 12/31 to 1/8. I like to show off every now and then and again. You see it for yourself. Guaranteed to win. Focus on my top 5 4 digits. They will manifest 12/31 to 1/8. I also guarantee the number 3 big money pattern in Michigan. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 737. Ladies and gentlemen, only big money pattern on fire. You see it for yourself, which I promise the fire will do what I say it will do. A 5-year-old has no problem looking at the fire straight. Oh, look at that. I put out a list with just the numbers that I did put on fire. You see it for yourself. I told my VIP, look, you see this happen between 1/5 and 1/13. Ladies and gentlemen, 5618, ladies and gentlemen, number 1 big money pattern. You see it for yourself. To win, focus on my top 5 4 digits, which I promise the first 2 big money patterns will manifest 12/30 to 1/8. Yesterday was 1/7. Ladies and gentlemen, they dropped 7065. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise my VIP that the very last number you see would manifest first. Straight! I triple dollar signed it as proof that I was going to promise that manifestation. Between the dates 12/31 and 1/9. Ladies and gentlemen, 434, ladies and gentlemen, a black sheep, black sheep. Now, if you don't know, now you know. A black sheep is a underdog. A black sheep is a number that nobody will be interested in wagering on. I have the ability of knowing these things straight. You see it for yourself. 434, black sheep. On time, 1/1 to 1/9, I told you, no one would be wagering on that particular combination. Here you go again, ladies and gentlemen. I promised the VIP that that number would manifest. As you can see, I triple dollar signed it. It made sense to do that since I knew that nobody would be wagering on 434 straight. It made sense to promise that the 443 big money pattern triple dollar sign would roll out between the dates 1, 2, and 110. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, 896, ladies and gentlemen, number one big money pattern from the dates 1230 to 1/7. I told my VIP, look, this is a prerequisite. To win, you must focus on my top 5 4 digits or 3 digits, which I promise the first two. Number one, did the trick between the dates 1230 and 1/7. I even met my deadline date. Here I go showing off. I guarantee to manifest the number 4 big money pattern between the dates. Look at that. On 1/7. It made sense to do that, right? Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you got that 616. Ladies and gentlemen, the black sheep, on time, underdog. Everybody knows that I know what numbers they will not be wagering on. So if nobody's wagering on these combinations, this means that these combinations are likely to be drawn. Why? Because it will pay out the least amount of money. You see it for yourself. I told my VIP on 1/7 that nobody will be wagering on 616. They dropped 616. Here I go showing off. It made sense, ladies and gentlemen, only 6 hours before the drawing to put my only big money pattern on fire, 661. Ladies and gentlemen, 6021. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised my VIP to win. You must focus on my top 5 4 digits, which I promised the first two will manifest. 16 to 114, they dropped it the very next day. Ladies and gentlemen, 204. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised my number one big money pattern, 204, would manifest between the dates 1/2 and 1/10 in Ohio. I did that. Here I go again. I promised to manifest straight. Triple dollar signed it. 204. Ladies and gentlemen, 267. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised to manifest my triple dollar sign 267 between the dates 1231 and 18. Ladies and gentlemen, 4, 5, 7, 9. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised my VIP, look, to win, focus on my top 5 4 digits, which I promised the top 2 will manifest between the dates 12 and 110 in Georgia. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, 963. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised my VIP, if they believed in my hard work, my triple dollar sign big money pattern would manifest straight on 1/7. You see it for yourself. I told them to invest in that particular big money pattern between the dates 12 and 110. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, 4052. Look at that right there. Number one big money pattern. I did it. I told them to win, focus on my top 5 4 digits, which I promise the first 2 will manifest between the dates 14 and 113 in Florida on 1/7. Ladies and gentlemen, 202. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I promised my VIP the only big money pattern on fire would manifest between the dates 1/6 and 1/14. The very next day, you're getting paid. Ladies and gentlemen, here you go again. Black sheep on time, straight on 1/7. You gotta do that. We got 202 right there. It will manifest between the dates 1/6 and 1/14. Nobody will be wagering on my black sheep. Ladies and gentlemen, 139. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised my VIP, my number one big money pattern would manifest straight between the dates 12/31 and 1/8 in Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, 5817. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I told my VIP on 1/6 to win. Focus on my top 4 digits, which I promise you will see the triple dollar signs will manifest between the dates 1/7. It dropped on 1/7 in Georgia. Top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I go showing off, ladies and gentlemen. I told my VIP, look, I'm going to give you the same numbers over and over and over again. Why? Because my numbers don't lie. No rundown, no flip, no mirror, just facts. Ladies and gentlemen, you got that 2573. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar sign. I promised it would manifest on 1/7, same day. Well, I figured it out on 1/6. I told them on 1/7, you will see my triple dollar sign manifest in Texas. Here I go showing off. I even guaranteed in Texas on 1/7 that they would see that 7532 big money pattern. Look at me go. Ladies and gentlemen, black sheep, 2, 3, 5, 7. On 1/7, between the dates 1/5 and 1/13, I made my VIP aware that hardly anybody would be wagering on that big money pattern. So again and again and again and again, ladies and gentlemen, I make it very simple that a 5-year-old can pick up on this. If you can follow simple winning instructions, number 1, number 2, fire, and triple dollar signs, it's factual. This will happen every single day. So watch. We're going to do something real quick. And what I will do is, if I did not predict the number that was going to fall in your state, I will give you the predictions going forward. So let's see what we can see. I want to see some states. I want to see some states. I want to see some states. I want to see some states other than the states that I already do. So I already do Ohio. All the numbers that you just heard me call out are for Ohio. I want to hear somebody give me some states that I don't already currently do. Mississippi. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, when you read the prediction and you don't see your state, you're under a spell. And it's working well. Not that it's meant for you, it's just that you read right into it. So again, let's go check out Mississippi real quick here. Mississippi. 435 158 deuce 086 and 8221. I think we got that one sold right on up. So, ladies and gentlemen, to win, focus on my top 5 3 digits, which I promise the first 2 big money patterns will manifest from 15 to 113. I also guarantee that you will see these big money patterns in your state. That's Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen. But I also say that you'll see it in Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Ohio, and Michigan. So, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, $435, I promised it would go to Mississippi straight. On 1-7. Here's your proof in writing. And I told you that I don't practice this, but in most cases, I can make it happen in 24 hours. You see it for yourself, Mississippi, 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 158 deuce, 15 deuce 8, 1258, 1285. Let's see here, 1825, 185 deuce. We're not going to stop there, though. That right there was a black sheep. But look at how many motherfucking stars. Do you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars, letting you know that that black sheep was going to roll out on you. In Mississippi, between the dates 15 and 113 will manifest. And in most cases, I can make it happen. Okay, so that one was your 1852. Let's go to 2158. Let's go to 2185. Let's go to, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! Boom. There it goes. Promise the very last motherfucking number you see, it's going to manifest first. You see it for yourself in Mississippi. Watch out for 21, 21, 21. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it right there. 1228, 2128. You see it for yourself. Boom, 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 boom. But ain't nobody listening to me at all. It all makes sense. Numbers don't lie. At least not to me. And you see it for yourself, where I promise the triple dollar signs will manifest on 1-7. There was no waiting on that one. I also guaranteed it would go to your state. That's Mississippi. Mississippi promised to manifest on 1-7. Now, let's go check out you already saw it, but we're going to go see if we can see it. Let's see, 8221, 8122, 1228, 20 hours ago, 20 hours ago. You see it, 1228, 2182, right there, right along with your 2185. I told you my numbers don't lie, but y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me. So we're going to take a look at your 086, ladies and gentlemen, for your Mississippi 086. 086, number one. 086, you see it for yourself. And to win, I told you, focus on my top 5 3 digits, which I promised the first 2 big money patterns will manifest 1-7. So on 1-7, Mississippi, you would have had it. So again, I don't have time to do this. I don't. I really don't. It takes time to time travel. But because there's no love, I just have to wish everybody what we call good luck, which means it was coined as a fat chance. Fat chance. You got a real fat chance at it, just guessing, but you have a very high probability of it joining my group. My group is dynamicpredictions.onrender.com. You purchase a package, I will gift you 7 days of my hard work. You can't beat that at all. So I will see everybody at the winner's table, no matter what. So, Mississippi, we nailed this one straight. We nailed this one straight. We nailed this one, and we nailed this one. All 4 numbers was given to you to roll out in Mississippi had you been a VIP member. So again, I don't like to be rude and I don't like to be disrespectful. So I'd rather not answer you when I make it plain and simple in the prediction. Your answer is right there. So when you ask me, do I do a particular state, and you don't see in capital motherfucking letters, your state first, it's before the states that I say it will also roll in. I'm looking out for you first, me second. Your state first, Mississippi. That's you first. And then it will go to Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, North Carolina, in that order. So for Mississippi, Mississippi, 086, Mississippi 8221, Mississippi 17, 2026. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking for 72X, 72XX. You are looking for 03X. You are looking for 03XX. You are looking for 67X. You are looking for 67XX. You are looking for 13X. 13XX. You are looking for 05X and 05XX. You are looking for 18X and you are looking for 18XX. Your sums are 12, 14, 16, and 13. Those are your major sums. Major sums. Your minor sums will be 3 and 21. Over here, you got 5 and 23. Over here, you got 7 and 25. And over here, you got 4 and 22. So right here, if you're looking for the sum of 12 and you got 7, 2, that's 9, right? So you know you are looking for 7, 2, 3, right? You got 9 and you are looking for 14. So you are looking for 725, right? You got 16, but you got 9. So you're looking for 727, right? 13, ladies and gentlemen, you got 9. So you are looking for 7, 2, what is that, 4? For your 13. Simple as that. Just like that. And you do the same thing with your 4-digit, and with your 4-digit, ladies and gentlemen, you are just going with a 0, 0, 0, 0 right there. Do you see how simple I did that? You can also go, you got 9 right here, right? You are looking for your 21. So over here, 9 and what 2 numbers will give you your 21? Same thing with your 03. And if you know that you needed a 3, you got 0300. You need a 5, 0320. You need a 7, 0340. You need a 4, 0310. Right? Right. I love you all. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the love when people show it. I'm going to see everybody at the winner's table no matter what. Abundant prosperity in health and in wealth to all who follow me and believe in the hard work that you see me accomplishing every single day. Energy, frequency, and vibration is real.